I got a nice surprise this week, and that is the new Huion HS610 Windows tablet. Except this just isn't a Windows tablet. This works with any Android device 6.0 and over. I was a little skeptical to see if that would work, but gave it a whirl, and I'll show you my results in a minute. Now we know these tablets normally work with Windows, and we know what to expect from that. What happens if you sort of take a standard tablet and you hook it up to an Android phone? Is it supposed to work? Wait, what? We'll find out. In the meantime, this is we're going to pay some bills here. This is a battery-free pen, an EMR device. Working area is 10 inches by 6.25 inches. The report rate, which Huion is very proud of, is 266 pps. The pen pressure is 8,192. Tilt, yes, it supports it. Express keys, yes, there's 12 of them. Function keys, these are soft keys. I'll explain, there's 16 of them. There's a touch ring with a button in the middle. There's an on-the-go adapter, that's basically a micro USB converter. And additionally, they provide a USB-C converter as well for your phone or tablet. This is the tablet itself. Really solid design. Doesn't feel cheap. You know, feels very professionally made. And what stands out right away are these express keys. Now, I'm not sure until I get into the driver if this is actually 12 keys or 6, but it looks like 12 on the onset. It has a touch ring with a button in the middle, and we're going to get this hooked up to Windows and see how it does there first. We'll go with the quick unboxing for this one. Thank you card from Huion. Here is your pen holder. This is new. The pen nibs are inside, and you are going to put the pen here to change your nib. These are different adapters for whatever Android phone you're using. This is going to be the connector cord from the tablet to the actual laptop or PC, whatever you're using. Huion glove, which is always appreciated. And this, for me, is a new pen. I've never used this pen. And it's a little bit thinner than the pens that came with the 22-inch and the 13-inch, but it's a little lighter as well. It doesn't feel a lot different. The actual front button is a lot longer as opposed to the button in the back, which is a bit thinner this time around. So instead of, you know, splitting them down the middle, both have, you know, still that rubbery grip that you're used to. It looks like the newer pen might be a little bit longer leading to the tip. But other than that, they both still retain that sort of, you know, barreling down, you know, at the edge. Neither has an eraser, so no big deal there. And, you know, the pen holder where the old one was the donut, the new one is this little skinnier one. But I have to say off the bat, this one is a little loose. We'll give some feedback on that. You know, it works. It's just a little bit loose, and thought maybe I was dumb, but, you know, in fact, no, it's just loose. Okay, this screen should come as no surprise for anyone who follows the channel. This is the Huion tablet properties, and we're just going to briefly go through it real quick. This press keys is obviously where you set up your... I did confirm, by reading the box by the way, that it is 12 physical express keys. The touch ring is not configurable, but the button will cycle through different settings and such, adjust brush size, zoom, and things of that nature. And what I didn't know until early on is that these are actually what they call soft express keys or soft keys, and each one of these you can put an assignment. So for example, here I put Control-Alt-Z, and when you tap it with the pen, it's going to do the undo. The best use I can see for these is probably tool assignment, because when you're actually working on a, you know, a screen and you try to put your pen here, it's going to be like on the file menu and such. But this is 16 more configurable soft keys, so that's something that's fantastic. Now, Normally, I don't really touch many of these except for the enable soft keys. Enable touch is not, this isn't a touch device. That mainly means touch on the ring. So if you don't want to bother with that, you turn it off. Digital pen, this is kind of basic stuff, just where to configure your pen. I keep this checked, enables Windows Ink, and I have no idea what these two do. Your brush sensitivity, these are standard things now we find in these Huion tablets. The work area, this is one area I do go in kind of often because I run dual screens, sometimes 3 screens, and all these tablet manufacturers and such seem to have a problem at times losing which screen or what have you, especially if you're unplugging them and plugging them in all the time. So that's where you set that up, or just put it back to the screen you want, and see, just like that, you're done. And that's about it. You know, the one thing about this tablet, not only is it 8,000 levels of pressure, but it also supports tilt. And I think at this point, this might be, they have this on sale right now. I think this might be one of the cheaper devices you can get right now that support tilt. Again, I'm just going in here with one of Kyle's brushes, you know, just to, you know, test how the actual tablet feels. We're not going to actually make a big deal out of this, but just want to demonstrate, you know, how good this is in Windows. Now, the main sell of this tablet is the actual Android capability, and we're going to test that and go over it in a second. But what I wanted to illustrate is I've used this thing for a couple days now. It is perfectly capable if you have no wishes at all to use it with Android, and in fact you just want to use it with Windows. So we'll draw this big muscle guy here for a second. You see, everything is nice. You know, we have a nice, beautiful pressure curve. No shoelacing. I mean, we're going to turn on, you guys know how we do it already. We're going to turn on a, you know, an actual ink brush in a second here. No slowdown. I mean, we're doing screen recordings just so you can pick up those light lines because the other camera's not going to get it, but kind of that paper-like texture we always talk about, right? Very responsive touch ring, and like I said before, this is pre-configured to work with, you know, Photoshop. A lot of these guys do that. You know, really kind of impressed, you know, especially for what they're selling this device for. Alright, so let's look really quick, because I want to make sure I leave time. Again, that's going to be partly my brush, right? But that's a beautiful taper off. We're not getting any shoelace. We're not getting any nonsense. I was pretty zoomed in before. There's no jitter in these lines. This is a great little tablet. Alright. You guys know what's going on now. I can't possibly get through a review without doing a line test. That was my bad. I moved. I've got a little wobble here. It's not crazy, it's not terrible, and it seems to be only the slow diagonal lines as usual, but there's a little bit there, but nothing crazy for me, nothing deal breaking. Again, we've been over this too, is where I just can't draw that slow, so I'm not really sure. I'm more interested in these lines, to be honest with you. How it keeps up. And I know a couple times I did see the cursor fall behind, but I'm not really blaming that. I'm blaming Camtasia. Camtasia has a really bad habit of screwing with my pen. There's times when I'm screen recording and it actually doesn't pick up the cursor at all, so this one's looking pretty good. Again, we'll see how it is in post, but you know, right now as a standalone Windows tablet, especially what I would call for like a young artist or somebody starting out, or somebody who just wants something quick, you know, portable, pop into your laptop and just get going, I think this is perfectly serviceable. Huion gives you these two little doohickeys, okay? They're going to plug into the end of your tablet. To be running Android 6 and over, which is, I mean, at this point old. Sketchbook Pro, which is free on this Android device, and we have the Huion tablet. Now, the one thing to note, and the main selling point of this tablet, you know, in addition to the Express keys and the Windows capabilities, is this capability to work on an Android device. Now, at first, I was a little unsure how that would work, right? But these phones have gotten so big now that it actually does become practical. This is small. The only limitation you're going to have, which really isn't a limitation when you think about it, is the size of the screen, right? So I can't, remember it's not Windows, so I can't flip this in, you know, widescreen mode or, you know, landscape mode or something like that. I have to kind of stay portrait view. But, you know, for somebody like me who does illustrations, that's fine. The other thing you're going to have to realize is you're going to be limited, obviously, to, you know, just a portion of the Huion tablet because it's trying to conform to the screen size. But if I just pick this, okay, now remember it's Android, so we're not in full Windows. But it just works. I mean, it's completely like amazing, but without doing anything. I didn't configure anything. I didn't have to download any special version of any kind of app or software or anything like that. And just works. This to me is the deal changer. This essentially turns any Android tablet 6.0 and over into basically an EMR device. You don't have to worry about a pen. You don't have to worry about anything else. The only, I guess, limitation you could have is potentially, depending on your device, you can't power the device and use the tablet at the same time. So the tablet is being powered, you know, by the phone. You know, essentially by the Android device. Now, some of the newer Android devices now have wireless charging, so there's probably ways around that. I'm not sure really what else to say. It's responsive, it's quick, and it just works. Now obviously your express keys aren't going to do anything in Android, but I mean, it's sort of a small price to pay. There are no keyboard shortcuts in Android, so I mean, you know, what I can envision is that, you know, you stick this in your bag, and if you have an Android tablet already, I mean, if you just need to get a little bit of work done, I mean, look at this. We got pressure. Like, it's ridiculous. That, you know, leave your comments and questions below if you want me to test anything else. So, you know, you got to take your hat off to Huion here. I mean, this is sort of like one of those devices you never really thought you needed or wanted until you try it, and then you see how cool it is. I mean, the thing is, like, ridiculously affordable, right? So it's not going to break the bank. And it's something that, you know, you could shell out a couple dollars for just for the convenience of it, especially if you're an Android user, right? If you're a Windows user, like I talked about when I was testing in the review, this thing works perfectly fine as a Windows tablet. You know, 12 express keys, you know, plus the ring, plus different options on the ring. I'm pretty happy and pretty impressed that Huion keeps getting better and better. You know, the one thing I didn't like was the pen stand, but I mean, you can live without that. And you know, the pen overall felt great. You know, we tested it, looks good. Slight bit of wobble, but you know, I'll reach out to them, let them know this is what I found. I don't think that's a huge thing. Could be fixed in drivers and stuff like that. We've seen that before, but you know, if you have a little extra cash or you have a use case for something like this, I don't think you'll be disappointed. So keep your eyes on this channel. Please subscribe, hit the bell, and I'll see you guys in the next one.